Sheriff Jeff Wolf. Joining me today is Emily Rude, Assistant District Attorney, La Crosse County, Captain John Siegel, Investigative Division, La Crosse County Sheriff's Department, and Special Agent in Charge, Jake Vosters, DCI, Eau Claire. Before we begin, I want to clarify the spelling on one of our suspects. First name of Camptheneth. The first name has the letter H at the end of it. That was verified through various resources during the investigation, different from what earlier press releases stated. Today's press conference is to provide information regarding the apprehension of the suspects in last Friday's triple homicide that occurred on County Trunk Highway M, Township of Hamilton, La Crosse County. The investigation into the homicides was a statewide team effort by multiple law enforcement agencies throughout Wisconsin, and the excellent work of numerous investigators in this investigation. I will provide details of the investigation as we know it. Both suspects were apprehended using various forms of technology, including cell phones, social media, and the use of police informants and numerous interviews. Camptheneth Rattensack, age 44, also known as Black or Cam, was believed to be at a residence in the village of Amherst, Wisconsin last night. Amherst, Wisconsin is located approximately 15 miles southeast of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. At approximately 8:30 p.m., Rattensack attempted to flee from a traffic stop. He was taken into custody by the Portage County Sheriff's Office with assistance from the Stevens Point Police Department, Plover Police Department, and the Waushara County Sheriff's Office. Camptheneth was transported to and being held in the La Crosse County Jail. This morning at approximately 1:50 a.m., Naya Tao, age 33, also known as Kush, was taken into custody at a residence in Wausau, Wisconsin, by the La Crosse County Sheriff's Office, Wisconsin DCI, Marathon County Sheriff's Office, Wausau Police Department, and the U.S. Marshals Service Fugitive Task Force. Naya was also transported to and being held in the La Crosse County Jail. This is an ongoing investigation. Numerous items of evidence have been recovered, including vehicles and the contents contained within. Numerous searches and search warrants were conducted in multiple counties in the last 3 days, as well as numerous interviews were conducted. Several hundred items of evidence were collected at multiple locations. Here is what law enforcement believes to have occurred. On July 23, 2021 at 4:57 a.m., three bodies were discovered at the entrance to the Ramskog Quarry at N6290 County Trunk Highway M, Town of Hamilton. The bodies were discovered by 2 employees arriving for work. The Wisconsin State Crime Lab and the Wisconsin Department of Justice, Division of Criminal Investigation, were contacted to assist La Crosse County with the investigation. On July 23rd, the day of the homicide, at approximately noon, investigators interviewed a female at the La Crosse Police Department that indicated she had information concerning the homicide. This female, identified as BLS, indicated that she had been with the 3 victims Trevor Maloney, Nemo Yang, and Peng Lor on Thursday, July 22nd, and that they'd all been staying in the same room at a hotel in Onalaska, Wisconsin. In the early morning hours of Friday, July 23rd, she, along with the victims, were returning to Onalaska from La Crosse when they were followed by what she believed to be a black Mercedes-Benz. They stopped at another hotel in Onalaska briefly while she went in to drop off some items. Upon returning to her car, she discovered the Mercedes parked next to her vehicle and that an individual she knew as Cush was sitting in her car behind the driver's seat. One of the victims that had been in her car was now seated in a Mercedes. BLS said the driver of the Mercedes was an individual she knew as Black and that he was holding a gun. BLS said that she was told to follow the Mercedes, which she did, driving her car. At some point, she was told by Cush, who was seated behind her, to pass the Mercedes, which she did. Cush then gave her directions where to go. They then stopped at the location where the homicides occurred. After getting to the quarry, all of the individuals got out of the two vehicles. Black told all three of the victims to get on their knees and then gave Cush the gun. Cush then shot all three victims multiple times. Law enforcement was familiar with Cush as Naya Tao. Black or Blackie was unknown to local law enforcement. On Saturday, July 24th, the La Crosse County Sheriff's Office was contacted by an individual in the Minneapolis area that said he could provide information regarding the homicides. An investigator from the Sheriff's Office and an agent from the Wisconsin Division of Criminal Investigation went to the Minneapolis area to conduct that interview. Information was provided that the homicides were over a $600 debt. The informant indicated that the debt was with an individual named Black and that he had just got out of prison. The informant thought Black resided in the Wausau, Wisconsin area. Investigators were able to identify Black as Comptoneth Rattensack with the assistance of the DCI Wausau office and other agencies in central Wisconsin. Investigators believe that some of the victims and suspects were potentially members of the True Asian Bloods and the Crazy Hmong Boys. Both are known to be rival gangs. We believe Comptoneth and Naya killed the three victims on County Trunk Highway M at approximately 2:15 a.m. on Friday, July 23rd. We believe both individuals then traveled in the 2005 Mercedes-Benz S to Algoma, Wisconsin, where they had contact with at least two individuals who have been interviewed. 2 cell phones and other possible evidence was given to an associate of the suspects to destroy, which was later recovered by law enforcement. Both cell phones were recovered in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, and other evidence was recovered by law enforcement, including the Mercedes-Benz in Brown County. It is believed that at least one of the recovered phones belonged to one of the victims. Preliminary autopsy information is that all three victims died of multiple gunshot wounds. Ammunition casings were discovered at the scene. Autopsies were performed at the Department of Anatomic Pathology, Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota. Multiple law enforcement agencies have been involved in the investigation and subsequent arrests. They include, in addition to the La Crosse County Sheriff's Office, the La Crosse County District Attorney and Medical Examiner's Office, Wisconsin DCI, Eau Claire, Madison, Appleton, and Wausau, the Wisconsin State Patrol, the United States Marshals Service, Sheriff's Departments in Vernon, Brown, Dorr, Kewaunee, Winnebago, Adams, Juneau, Waushara, Oneida, Portage, and Marathon counties. Police departments assisted from La Crosse, Onalaska, Holman, Wausau, Stevens Point, and Plover. This is a very complex case that led to investigation in various parts of Wisconsin. Investigators worked tirelessly to bring resolution and arrest to this case. The agencies involved cannot be commended enough for the great work. But there is more to take place. It's an ongoing investigation. There will be numerous items of evidence, including vehicles, to be processed at the State Crime Lab. We will continue to work to establish a timeline for both suspects through surveillance video, cell phone records, and social media. Both subjects are in custody and will make an initial appearance in court tomorrow, Friday, July 30th at 1:30 p.m. in the La Crosse County Circuit Court. And to remind you, both individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty. I'll try to answer any questions. The criminal complaint is available. The initial complaint is available. All of the information provided to you at this time is in the complaint.
Did you find out where the two of them were at the same time, or did one lead to the other in any way?
Clarify from that, Brett.
Going on the information we had already, that the first man was arrested last night, and there were a couple of agencies involved in the later on, a lot of agencies in the second.
Yep. The question was, did both arrests, were they related, or they both simultaneously occurred out of coincidence? We received information through informants that one of them was in the Amherst area, and while they were working on that, information came in that the second was in the Wausau area. Does that help?
It does. So that you didn't the officers didn't necessarily know they were in the area until that one traffic stop in Amherst, or is that?
They knew they were in the area. We had received information that the first party was in Amherst. Portage County Sheriff's Department and other agencies set up surveillance, and through two different tornadoes were able to surveil the residents, and two people subsequently went to leave the residence, and one of them was our suspect. He fled and was arrested.
What do you believe the relationship is between the suspects and the victims?
I can't answer that. We're still working on what all the relationships are.
Is that the case then as well with the three victims, what their relationship with each other was? Or?
We're still developing that as well.
The two gangs that you mentioned, are they Wisconsin, or where are they out of?
I'm not an expert on it. Both are in the Midwest area.
Is there a piece of evidence that really was like the biggest piece of evidence that helped you lead you to the arrest?
I think the witness that came forward the first day put us on the right track. By coincidence, the vehicle they were operating was abandoned in Brown County. Unknowing that it was involved in a homicide, it was investigated by Brown County and Kewaunee County why the vehicle was there, and that was put us on the track of where they may be heading.
Do you know why she was spared?
We do not.
You mentioned that some folks reached out saying that information, but can you talk about the role community cooperation played and just the pace of this investigation, how it took just about a week to kind of go from start to almost finish?
From 1 o'clock last Friday, we did not know who the victims were. And once we knew who the victims were, we were receiving information both from citizens and law enforcement nonstop. And it was a lot of work to designate resources to follow up on all those tips. It was very crucial. Social media and the media both locally. We got it out to the Green Bay area, Wausau area. All of it helped with the investigation.
Can you just clarify if the victims and suspects knew each other, or was it through that gang affiliation?
We have reason to believe that they knew each other because of that debt that was owed.
Do you know what that debt was? Just money, or?
We're trying to learn that right now.
Did the woman who talked to you say that she had been threatened at all when she first spoke to the police?
I can't really comment on that other than I think she was fearful.
Along those lines, I spoke to and Quaid's one of the victims this week, and they also mentioned that there was a fear for their life and another person's life that they also knew. Is there any threat to public safety, I guess, when covered off this in your eyes?
We don't see any threat. Obviously, there's witnesses that cooperated in the case. We're working with them. We're in contact with them to ensure their safety.
Are there any other suspects?
Not at this time. Like I say, there's a lot of information to be followed up on. There could very well be others involved.
What do you know about the residence where the two suspects were found?
Very little. Because of the time frame of the arrest, the fact that all of us were up all night working on this, all the information isn't in and reports aren't filed on what exactly occurred.
How crucial was communication with the families of the victims?
We were in constant contact. We've been using the Crime Victim Services out of the Department of Justice. I have spoken to family members. They've been very cooperative and assisted us the best they could.
Did the suspects ever have any assistance in eluding law enforcement?
That information's still coming in. We know that they were transported and given rides various places. Who knew what is questions we have to answer.
When you initially released the names, I think Blackie, you said, was from the Wausau area. Is it surprising that he was still in the Wausau area?
Well, we knew he went to the Green Bay area, Algoma area. We placed suspicions. We assumed he was going to try to get back to where home might be. So Portage County, Marathon County, Stevens Point, Wausau were well aware of the information that we had.
With this incident being gang-related, is there concern over retaliatory incidents going forward?
We'll work with cooperative individuals that provide information to us to make sure we can stay in the forefront on that.
To what extent has the local law enforcement had contact with these gangs before?
Like I said, I'm not. The question is, what contact have we had with gangs before?
But
these two particular gangs, they're well known to law enforcement. I personally can't say that we have a lot of contact with them, but being on the interstate corridor between Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Rockford, Chicago, it's not uncommon.
When were the suspects transported, and are they currently in the jail?
Both of them are currently in the La Crosse County Jail. Both of them came back this morning.
We don't see crimes like this often here. How did La Crosse County figure this out so fast?
Through good teamwork. We have multiple contacts with law enforcement all over the state. We know DCI agents all over the state. It was just a matter of making the connections, getting the right people involved, and we got excellent law enforcement in our state.
I know you mentioned earlier that there's no other suspects at this time, but do you expect any possible additional arrests?
We have no idea at this time. One more if we got it.
The witness that kind of tipped you off, and then I assume she's in a secure place at this time?
She's in a secure place at this time.
Can you clarify where she's from or not yet?
That'll be up to the district attorney's office and what's revealed at a later point on her identity. All right, thank you.